I got a relatively simple headlight bulb fix. You see, this component right here, this thing that holds the bulb, broke a wire. I've got it over there, I'll show you in a minute. And I ordered this replacement. It was only a tenner. Brilliant, I thought. But there is a problem. You see, these are the two connectors which it's supposed to connect up to, and this is how it came with two of these attached. Now, this is what we refer to as the dreaded male-on-male connection. It's only dreaded because it just doesn't work in this progressive new world. You know, if you're a living being, it may work for you, but in this 1955 beauty, it doesn't work. So what I've got to do is change from this to this. Now, I've already done this one because I needed to just check that I could do it, and I was competent. And I'm pretty happy that I've got the wire there all pinched. I've exposed enough of it. It's perfectly fine. That should work. Now I just need to do the same to this one. So I'll show you how to do that, and then we'll be able to plug these in. Once that's plugged in, I'll have headlight again. Now, this isn't a difficult thing at all. It actually takes seconds. So let's just get this up here as close as you can to that. So these are a pair of snips. You want to get that because you don't want anything rattling around when you're riding around. There we're left with the cut wire. And you might think, oh no, I've busted my £10 bulb holder. What am I going to do? Ooh. This is where one of these comes in. These are a set of wire cutter / strippers, and they are a brilliant tool. The thing I'm using is this, and one thing that's brilliant about a lot of electrical things, is they're color coded. So I know this is a 2.5 mil. That's the crimp. So when I actually come to crimp it on, that's the one I use. But at the minute, I see there I've got a 2.5 mil. That's the one I imagine I need, and then we'll strip that and cramp on the new one. Let's see if I can get this camera somewhere where I can actually show you what I'm doing. Okay, so when you strip it, you don't want to strip too much off it because we still need a bit of leeway when actually connecting the bulb and the wires up. Otherwise, you're going to end up in a position where you need to connect the wires up with everything put together already, which doesn't work out. Right. I'm only taking about 5 mil off that, maybe a bit less than that. The fact of the matter is, the way this sits down, I can push that all the way down, and it's poking at the top there, I can see. So I just want to raise that a little bit. You want to see it, so you've actually got the connector as loose as it is. You want to get the connector so you can actually see that it's going to crash in where it needs to. And with me, I'm just going to, this may be different for other people, but I know it's 2.5. I'm going to start from the top where I know I'll crimp it first and just give it a good bit of force, smush, and then go down and just make sure the whole thing is cramped and cramped shut. There we go. That's done. That took less than 20 seconds. I'm sure someone will be like, oh no, it took me longer than that. Yes, it did, because there's two of them. But the fact of the matter is, this is such a simple, quick job. If you delivered something for an old bike that's got a male connector and you need a female connector, it's not a problem. You can get this sorted out in no time. So that's that. All I'd say is with this, as you can see, got a bit of rust on the headlight here. I'm not too worried about that. The glass is fine, cleaned that up. The bulb works, the side light works. I know everything works, it fits together lovely. The only thing I had to do with this is this earth connector here did not work properly. It was a bit loose when I first fit it, so I had to tighten it up. But when I tightened it up, I made it so I couldn't actually fit this. So I had to do a bit of manipulating, but it's a bit loose there. I will crimp that up before I actually install it, just so it doesn't move around so much. But yeah, just so you know, if you're buying things like this, you do, especially for older bikes, you're going to need to modify things slightly sometimes. Don't be afraid to do that. These things are very simple. The tools are readily available, and me, I was very lucky. I've got the female connectors I needed for this here. The only other thing I would say is when you disconnect the wires, make sure you mark down which one's which. These have got a very faint, one's red, one's white, and I knew when I disconnected the ones I had, the old one, I knew to mark down one of the wires there, because the wires in my bike are both solid blue. There's no working out the difference between the two. So basically it's a case of be sensible, mark down what's what and what goes where, and you won't trip yourself up. Otherwise you're going to have a hard time trying to figure out where everything goes. Otherwise you could short something out, you could break other things. It's just not worth the hassle. It's quite a simple assembly. Just to explain it, you got the bulb holder. Bulb holder has a live negative there. You've got an earth here at the end of it. It's a very old school thing. The earth actually, it's so old school, it just screws into the casing of the headlight itself. And earth's on the casing of the headlight. That also is earthed with this other cable which goes to the pilot light. Pilot light is basically the side light, the little tiny bulb which is in there, and also illuminates the light that's letting you know you've got your headlights on. This connects to the switch to switch the lights on. So all in all, it's incredibly simple. You've got your power in, your power out, earth, and then the bulb connections. Really can't go wrong with it. Same with anything on that old Ariel. The wiring on it is so basic, a 5-year-old could figure it out. The only problem is, with a lot of these old bikes, some old boys will usually tend to just fix up what they can with what they have. And the problem with that is that when someone like me comes along, you find a lot of wires and cables that are the same colour and don't really make much sense once you take things apart. So you have to be on the ball, make sure you're keeping an eye on what's coming off from where, and when you put things back together, put them back together in the correct order and fashion. Otherwise you could short something out and break something else. But yeah, that's the headlight there. Let's go and get it fitted, see if it actually works. Okay, so right, I've fitted the headlight again. As you can see, it's on, nicely fitted. Interesting thing, these old 1955 Ariel Red Hunters, no key. So if you ever wanted to just check to see if one of these old bike headlights work, you just get the old switch at the top of the headlight here. Got a side light, as you can see, that's the tiny bulb at the bottom there, and then a main beam. Look at that, look at the brightness of that. You can ignore the fact that if I stuck my workshop torch in front of the bike, if I had a couple of them, that would be a lot brighter than the headlights I've got.